Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Morning Mindset. It is time for you and for me to get our minds aligned with the truth of God. I'm thankful you're here. If you're new to the Morning Mindset, welcome. You are joining thousands of people who come together daily to get their minds right so they can live the day rightly. And that is my goal in producing these Morning Mindsets. If you would like to submit prayer requests for the Morning Mindset family to pray for together, we do produce Pray With Me or Pray Together episodes of the Morning Mindset that you'll see in the feed now and then. You can submit those to prayer@careygreen.com. Please let us know if we can use your prayer request on the show and if we can use your name or not. We're happy to keep things anonymous if need be. All right, we are looking at 2 Peter chapter number 1. We are still in verses 12 through 15. And Peter is describing his desire to continually remind the believers he's writing to about the things that he is teaching them. And he felt it not only his responsibility, but he also says he felt it right to do. Because we all need to be stirred up by way of reminder. That's the phrase Peter uses, to stir you up by way of reminder. Now, verse 14 brings us a very interesting perspective. We believe that Peter was in prison when he wrote this letter, that he was on his way to death in Rome. Tradition has it that Peter was crucified in Rome by the Emperor Nero, and that he was actually crucified upside down because he himself requested to be hung upside down because he did not feel worthy to be crucified in the same way that Jesus Christ did. Now, all of that is unsubstantiated, but that is how tradition tells the story. Now, besides all of that, we just need to know that Peter himself did see himself toward the end of his life when he wrote this. We can see that in verse number 14. Let's back up to verse 13. He says, I think it right, and he's talking about to remind them of things, as long as I am in this body, to stir you up by way of reminder, since I know that the putting off of my body will be soon, as our Lord Jesus Christ made clear to me. So Peter must have experienced some kind of revelation from Jesus. We don't know what form that took, whether it was a vision or a voice speaking to him or just an inner sense he had. But through this revelation, he received the knowledge he was going to be dying soon. And by this time in history, Peter was fairly along in years. We're not exactly sure how old, but he could have been in his 70s or in his 80s. And he's saying he desires to be reminding them of the things that go into living a life of faith for as long as he's in his body. And he says in verse 15, I will make every effort so that after my departure, you may be able at any time to recall these things. You see, Peter's goal was not micromanagement here. He was not so concerned and worried that they were going to forget the things they needed to be doing or the way they should be living. His concern was, number one, that he be a good steward, but secondly, that he be equipping the people that Jesus had given him to care for. And that included the recipients of this letter. Think that through for a moment. For every task we take on in life, especially the more important ones, we get equipped. That's why we go to university or college. That's why we go to a trade school. That's why we become an apprentice. That's why we have a coach or a music instructor or an art instructor. It's because we're equipping ourselves to do the task better and to become proficient at it, hopefully even to the point of mastery. My friends, do you think of your Christian character in that way? Do you think of your growth in faith in that way? That you should be equipping yourself all the time and that there are people in the church who help to equip you, like pastors, teachers, mentors, others who disciple us. My friends, let's take this seriously. Let's work hard at this, that we can develop a sense of maturity in our own lives. And I want to remind you of that Dallas-Fort Worth meetup coming up soon. Please check the description of this episode for all the details, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.